It was adorable when Francis was saying to me, "This is what we'll do, and your feet might hurt, and it might get cold, and we might not give you a coat." And I'm like, "Yeah, oh God, like, bless him," because of course I love that stuff and live for that stuff.
It feels like a match made in heaven in terms of Kate. The little I've spoken to you has been all about detail, and that you're obsessive about detail. And Francis, I know that you really are. Was that a kind of, did you know that, Francis, about Kate?
No, I didn't. It was brilliant, really, because when we first spoke on the phone after Kate had read the script, and I started to describe very gently how I like to work, which is, an extensive preparation period, maybe four months before the shoot, where we would talk and we would meet and we would build this character from scratch, and we would research every single detail about this person and their life right up until we meet them in the film. And then, I very tentatively said to Kate Winslet, "Oh, and, it would be really great if you went out onto those beaches and learned how to fossil and worked with an expert." And Kate just went, "Yeah, no, this is what I do. This is what I love." And my heart just like exploded with joy, really, because I thought, oh, thank God, brilliant, amazing. We're going to be able to go on this journey together. And it was really, really satisfying because Kate, we did all of that. We worked for months and months before the shoot. And Kate did go out onto those beaches and worked with a wonderful fossil expert down in Lyme Regis called Paddy Howe, and became quite the expert at finding fossils. But also, what was brilliant about that was while Kate was on those beaches, getting cold and wet and tired and hungry and getting aching hands and sore feet, we were able to really push all of those things into the performance. Really kind of use all those very visceral feelings for how Mary was going to be embodied both physically and emotionally. Actually, look, I'm at my work table, and this is what Kate found.
Oh, I think I've seen this. I think
Actually drops it. It's a flipping vertebrae. That's an ichthyosaur vertebrae found by me.
Yeah.
And Kate, did you what in terms of prep? Was it quite exciting to be working with? Because I know that in my little experience, it is so hard now when we're making stuff so quickly and we're having to make stuff quickly, and people's schedules, particularly you, it's like film to film, and you're having to kind of fit stuff. How is it finding the time to do the kind of prep that I know you and Francis wanted to do?
Well, the film that I was doing at the time that I read Ammonite was a small film called Blackbird, but it was about assisted dying, and actually I had lost my own mother just a year earlier, and so actually that I ended up doing this film that was about the assisted death of a mother played by Susan Sarandon. I was all sort of a mess, and it was definitely part of my process of letting go of my own mom. And so I was in this kind of real state and quite looking forward to truly having a break. I felt like I had sort of emotionally really buried my mum finally, and that was a strange thing that came as a result of being a part of Blackbird. And I wasn't really wanting to actually throw myself into work again because I was really tired. But it's the first time in my life where I thought, actually, it's okay to just use the tiredness and be a little bit method. And I realized quite quickly that actually, if I was going to overcome the fear I had about playing Mary, that maybe I needed to try and be a bit more methody than I think perhaps I'm normally comfortable with. I actually kind of don't even like the word method. I find it a little bit irritating, to be honest. And it doesn't always work for me. And I do flip in and out of character on set. I know some actors who stay in character all day long, which I find profoundly annoying. And I was able to jump in and out of Mary on the day, but the only reason I was able to do that was because I had done all of this work. It is quite meticulous work, and I do like to do a lot of preparation. And it was adorable when Francis was saying to me, "This is what we'll do, and your feet might hurt, and it might get cold, and we might not give you a coat." And I'm like, "Yeah, oh God, like, bless him," because of course I love that stuff and live for that stuff. But for some characters that doesn't always work, and sometimes letting go of the preparation and being a little bit more spontaneous is also an okay state to be in. But it wasn't for Mary. I had to really, I had to learn to love the injuries I would sustain daily on my hands and let them be there. And in actual fact, you see a lot of them in film. They were real, and I have a few scars to prove it. But yeah, creating is a sort of a backstory and a history for a character. Well, as you'll know yourself, it's enormously rewarding and challenging, and also annoying, because there are times when you don't want to feel quite so burdened by that person. And actually, I would have liked to have had a little bit more balance between my own life and playing Mary at the time that we were doing the film, and I just couldn't do that at all. I lived on my own from Monday to Friday without any members of my family, and we are a very close little unit, and that was really weird. And it was a decision that my husband Ned and I made. I was just going to have to do it for the film, and I lived alone. I didn't live near the crew or any of the other actors. I was able to rent this small, quite rattly cottage that sat right on a beach and was exposed to the elements on two sides. And so when there would be a storm, I would just be hit completely by this weather, and the waves would sometimes hit the bedroom window, and I would think, okay, the power would go out, and I would go, okay, I'm really doing it. It's okay. I can light a candle and I can go and make a cup of tea. No, I can't. The electricity's gone. Okay, that's fine. I'm doing this because I need to do everything I can to feel as close to this character as possible. But I was glad that I was able to do that, and filming in Lyme Regis, where the story takes place and is set and is where she's from, and she's so special to people there, and the sense of sort of ownership that Lyme Regis has over Mary is really quite wonderful. And as a result, the community were really helpful. The people who worked at the museum, who had a lot of the actual historical works that we needed to look at, they were just brilliant, and we were really lucky to have them as well.
I think sorry, Josh, I think what was so fantastic for me, and as you know, I love transformative actors. That's why I love you, and that's why I love Kate, and it got to the point where I didn't see Kate anymore as I knew her. All I saw was Mary. And it actually got to the point where one day on set, and I like my sets to be quite small and private and very secure for the actors. And one day on set, at the corner of my eye, I see this person like walking around the set, and I didn't know who they were. And I turned to the first assistant director and I said, who's that on my set? And he leaned in and he went, "That's Kate." And it was Kate out of costume and makeup and hair. And I just couldn't recognize her. And she came towards me and I was like, I actually can't look at you because I don't know who this person is. Because the person I'm dealing with every day is someone very different to Kate. And it was a really weird, odd, experience. But it was very odd. It's very odd for me to see the film now because I don't recognize any part of Kate in Mary. It's such an incredible, transformative, both emotionally and physically, performance.